So hi, my name's Ollie Sanitas. I'm one of the founders of Oak Journal, and I'm here with Jennifer Mahin, who is using our one of our journal users, and she has a really inspiring story. So I wanted to talk to her about it. So hi, Jennifer. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Ollie. My name is Jennifer Mahin, and when I describe myself, I think first and foremost, I like to say I'm a mom because that's my most favorite thing in the world is to be a mom. And then I'm, of course, a wife and a daughter, and I work in the finance field.
Oh, cool. So have you ever used a journal before, or is this your first?
So, yeah, so I when I was a kid, of course, I did journaling stuff. I think most of the time it was required by school. And then as an adult, I was always looking for some sort of notebook or a notepad or a journal or something to help me be more productive. I'm very task oriented, very goal oriented. I set my milestones. I try to accomplish those. And I have to say, the original reason why I bought the journal was because I thought, oh, I'm going to try this to see, is it going to help me be more productive? And so I started doing everything that was in the journal, and it really sort of knocked me on my butt a little bit because I was thinking, I can use this to perhaps make some of these big life changes that I was hoping to make. It wasn't, and like I said, I didn't buy it for that reason. It just, as I started doing the journal, I started doing that reflection that I needed to make some big life changes. So I had worked in a job for a really long time and decided I needed to change that job. It was a little stressful, and so I made that change. But as I was making that change, I thought, there are other things I need to change. A big thing was health. My lifestyle wasn't that healthy. And so, but I couldn't really figure out the how or even the why really. And so, I changed jobs, got that done. And then I started working in my new job and I came across the journal and I started using the journal thinking I'd be more productive. Well, I know how to be productive. I know how to reach work goals. And so as I started doing the journal and doing some of the reflection and some of the daily exercises, I started to think, oh, what's my real why? And what's my 90-day goal? And how can I use this journal to get to it?
That's awesome. You might be the best person ever to interview because you answered a ton of my questions before I even got to them. So let's talk about what your SMART goals are and what your personal why. Do you mind sharing what your personal why is? Did you achieve that?
Yeah, so it's it's a work in progress, and I think it'll always be, improvement. But my goal was to live a healthy, well, let's just start over. My ultimate goal was I thought I needed to lose some weight, which I did. But you can lose weight, you can follow different programs and lose it, but if you don't have a real reason why, then why are you doing, then you're never going to stick with it. So I had to keep asking myself, what's the real reason? And what it came down to is I want to live a long and healthy life. And I want to do that with my family. So I come from a large extended family, and like I said, I have a daughter and a husband, and I want to be around for when my daughter gets married, and I don't want to be around where I'm like, not able to do things. I want to be able to participate and do all the things that she wants to do and that my family wants to do. And I can't do that, feeling the way I was feeling. I mean, I think one of the things that really helped me figure this out with the journal was there was a incident. I call it the incident, but it was a day when my daughter had asked me, she's 6, and I think at the time she may have been 5. She had asked me to, she found a video on YouTube, and she wanted me to do the dance. They were teaching a dance on YouTube. And I said, okay, I'll do that with you. And it was a 6-minute video, and I could only make it through 3 minutes. And, you know, that was the norm for me. So I didn't really reflect on that or think about that until I started. So I, you know, of course I was doing the journal, I was doing it every day, and there's some weekly reflection type stuff. And I reflected on that and thought, you know what, I need to lose weight. And so I started to use the journal. Well, you know, when you do 90 days, that's a chunk. It's not a year, because losing weight, that's a difficult, long journey that you have to stick to. So doing 90 days, then doing, you know, daily, weekly stuff, it really helps you put it into small bite-sized chunks. And when you start with that bigger why, it really helps motivate you. And started using the journal and a lot of, you know, tracking of what I was eating, tracking my steps. And then of course, you know, when you start adding SMART goals in there, if you want to increase your steps, you say, how am I going to increase the steps? How am I going to track it? And you can use the journal to help you do that. And I felt like the journal gave me a big perspective, 90 days. Then it comes down to, you know, what are you doing weekly? And it comes down to really, what are you doing daily? And it gives you the tools for that. And so it could be any change you're trying to make. Now mine was losing weight, and it still is. I'm actually still on my journey to lose weight, and I'm almost to where I want to be. But then I want to maintain where I'm at. And so I'm going to use the journal to help me do that.
And it was, so, and you didn't start with the journal. You kind of mentioned that as a method to focus on health, right? You kind of, but when you started with it took you a couple journals to get into the flow, correct?
Yeah. So like I said, when I first got the journal, I thought, you know, I'm going to use this to achieve work goals. And so I did. I put a work goal, my 90-day goal, and I achieved it. But what I know is I can do that because that's what I've done, you know, throughout my career. I've been able to achieve those goals. But then, and I knew I wanted to, you know, I wanted to change jobs, which I did, but I needed to get healthy. And you know, and it kept being one of those things, well, I'll start tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I'll start tomorrow. And then I got the journal, started working with the journal. And, you know, I think the first maybe 2 journals I did, like, these are going to be my work goals. But then it like really, like by the 3rd journal, I was like, oh, instead of it being a work goal, I'm going to make it a personal health goal. And, you know, and it wasn't like I'm going to lose X amount of pounds. It was like, my goal is to be a healthier person. And then how do I get there? How do I start that?
Do you think the journal, because you're talking a lot about sort of I would say the superficial goal was lose weight, right? And then how did the journal help you discover what the true why was, as opposed to just, oh, I'm here to lose weight? Because there's a lot more to what you're achieving than losing weight, right?
Yeah. So I guess I think it probably had to do with maybe some of because there's exercises in there to do weekly. And then there's, you know, you have your retrospective where you're looking back on the week. And I think in one of those exercises, and I can't remember which one it was, the one that keeps sticking out to me is the bucket list. where you write your bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had an initial bucket list and I literally had to go back and rewrite it because my initial bucket list was based on what I can do now and not based on what I wanted to be able to do. And that may have been the thing that really was like, well, here's your why. Like, and it had a lot to do with doing things with my family. And so I rewrote my bucket list and was thinking, these are the things I really want to do and I can do, but I have to get healthy. And part of that was losing weight, but that's not the whole thing. I mean, I wanted to lose weight, I want to exercise more, but the losing weight really turned into, I need to make a lifestyle change. And the biggest lifestyle change that I needed to make was eating healthier. And so, you get to that, I need to make that change. I want to do it. My why is my family because I want to be there. I want to live a long life. And then you get down to like, what are the things I need to do? So that's where it takes you. It takes you to this ultimate big goal. And then how do you do the small pieces to get to that goal?
That's awesome. I was really happy when you first told me your story, and I'm super psyched that you were sharing it with us in the Oak community. And I know Adam and Keith and we didn't necessarily design it around health goals, and you kind of showed us that it can be applied to anything. So I really appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate that you use the journal and you become an advocate for it. But before we sign off, is there anything else you want to add?
I think that for me, the journal is going to be the tool that I can use for big life changes. And I'm not even talking about just the health thing or losing weight, but if I want to run a marathon, I'm going to use the journal too. It has been an excellent tool to help me change things that I want to change that I don't know how to do. I don't know the how part. So it's, like I said, it's really a great tool to use for changes, whether it's a big life change or something small you're trying to accomplish or something in business you're trying to accomplish.
So notice I'm not saying if, when you run the marathon, can we do this interview again?
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, Jennifer. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.